extreme apple flavor, and of course, the buttery taste. Just perfect.
Welcome back to my channel, guys, and in today's video we'll be making risotto, but not just any risotto. Apple risotto from the Food Wars. Well, the vegetarian version of it, less the bacon. And as a challenge, we'll create a fine dining amuse bouche one-bite version of it. So if you are someone who often feels puzzled by the idea of creating more fine dining, modern and elevated versions of comfort dishes, this will be an interesting watch. There will be a couple of modern, interesting cooking techniques, like the creation of fruit, but not only, canola tubes, and lots of inspiration. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't done it already, and like this video, because you know, the algorithm likes. And the last thing to mention before we start with the dish itself, there will be an awesome giveaway in the video, so make sure you watch it until the end. Order up! Okay, so let's start with the first and most time-consuming part of the recipe, apple canolis. For this we'll need to first cook out the apples with some lemon juice. The apples that we're going to use are specifically red apples, and they're usually quite sweet, so apple juice will add that much needed acidity. Dice the apples with skin on, importantly. This red skin will give the end canolis a very cool pink pattern. Place them in a small pot with lemon juice and simmer on low heat for about 5 minutes until they soften up and become translucent. Next, we're gonna get a little sciencey and measure the amount of cooked apples that we have, and then calculate 20%. Because for this recipe, we require exactly 20% of tapioca maltodextrin or sorbit powder. And yes, someone forgot her glasses. I knew something felt off. Anyways, now dump your tapioca maltodextrin to the food processor and mix with apples for about 10 seconds. This doesn't take long, just so that the apple flesh is pureed and mixed with tapioca maltodextrin, and the peels are still intact, like this. Now, I've tested different variations for this part, with silicone molds and without. The truth is that after dehydrating, we'll still need to trim off the fruit skins a bit for a neater look. So it only makes sense to just layer apple puree here in a more or less required shape of a narrow rectangle at this stage. Just make sure that it's flat, but no need to be super precise. Dehydrate at 180 degrees Fahrenheit or 80 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. Ta-da! The first part is almost done. After 2 hours, take the tray with fruit leather skins out, carefully peel each one of them off the mat and trim the edges with kitchen scissors. If you wish, you can use a ruler for that to make sure that your apple canolis are as neat as possible. Or don't. You're the boss. Next, take a cannoli mold, wrap it in a piece of parchment paper. Trust me, you don't want to miss that step. I did it during the first recipe testing, and all of my apple cannolis got completely stuck onto the molds. A layer of separation is very important here. Now, wrap the apple skin onto the cannoli mold, press where it connects, and dehydrate for another 2 hours until cannoli gets completely dry and crispy. Meanwhile, it's time for the star of today's video, apple risotto. Apple risotto is cooked just like regular risotto. First, you gotta sweat the onions, preferably so they don't develop any color. Just sweat it. Then add in short grain risotto rice, toast it for a bit just so it's hot to the touch, add some dry white wine, cook out the alcohol so only the sweet acidity of wine is left. And here is the point where our risotto gets interesting. Instead of cooking out the rice in stock, we are going to use apple juice. What? Yeah, you heard it correctly, apple juice. It will give our risotto an ultimate apple flavor. Otherwise, the cooking method is pretty standard for risotto. Add only a little bit of apple juice at a time and make sure that you mix the rice all the time, so it releases all its starchiness and makes the risotto creamy. Alright, the risotto will be cooking out for a while. and we don't want to rush this process. So, meanwhile, we can do the garnish for our amuse bouche. For this, use the microplane rasp, specifically microplane, because it's the best for this kind of thing. And rasp the top layer of green apple skin. Transfer the peels to a baking tray and pop in the oven. It'll dehydrate in no time, like 10-15 minutes should be enough. And meanwhile, again, double meanwhile, dice the peeled green apple to small dice, about the size of the individual rice granules. These apples will be added to our risotto just before it's done cooking, so they stay nice and crisp. By this time, our apple canolis should be ready. You don't want to dehydrate them for too long, otherwise they'll start to change color. So, take them out of the oven, slide over the molds and carefully remove the parchment paper. Now you see? Removing parchment paper of the fruit canolis is way easier than removing fruit canolis of the metal molds. And voila! One mise en place item is ready. Oh look! And the second one is done as well. Try to separate the dried peels as much as possible and set the garnish aside. There is one more thing I want to add to it, but we'll deal with it later. This will take a while, so it's better to start it off right now, so it's ready by the time risotto is ready. Start melting a block of butter. At this point, risotto should be about 10 minutes before being done, so it's time to add in our pre-cut apple cubes. And meanwhile, oh my god, I don't even know how many meanwhiles I've included so far. It's a lot of multitasking in this video. So meanwhile, cook out a bunch of extra apples on low heat with some white wine again, just so it becomes soft and translucent. Risotto should be ready by now, so take it off the heat and add in some cold butter. This will give our risotto the desired creaminess. Also, don't forget to add some nutmeg and white pepper. That's the perfect risotto texture that we are looking for. Super creamy, but not runny. Now that the risotto is done, let it sit on the side for a while. Meanwhile, we can finish off the last element of the dish, our cheese apple butter cream. Grate some Parmesan cheese, and if you end up with some cheese rings at the end, do not throw them away. Drop the cheese rings into the melted butter and cook for about 5 to 10 minutes. It'll take our butter onto another level of cheesiness. Transfer the cooked wine apples to a blender cup, add in some cheesy butter and blend to smooth puree. Then add in the grated Parmesan and blend some more. At this point, you probably regret that you haven't done this cream earlier, so just pop it into the fridge for a couple of minutes so that the butter will start to get solidify. Meanwhile, and yes, it's another meanwhile, so just get over with it, do a happy dance and entertain your guests, because there is literally nothing else left to do for this dish.
Stop it.
After a couple of refreshing minutes, our cheese apple cream will be solidified, so blend it one more time and transfer to a piping bag. And voila! Repeat the process for the warm risotto. Last step before we start plating, mix the dehydrated green apple peels with some extra dehydrated apple powder. I had plenty of it left from the recipe testing. It's super flavorful, would be a shame not to utilize it here. Now, everything is ready, time to plate. Pipe the apple risotto inside the canolis, just so that there is about half a centimeter left on both sides. Pipe in the cheese apple cream to both ends. Prepare the plate by piping 2 lines of cream next to each other onto the plate. That's where our finished canolis will stick on. Dip the canolis into our garnish so it's nice and fluffy on both ends, and stick them on top of the cream. Finished! Our awesome, aromatic, super delicious apple risotto on steroids amuse bouche is ready. Enjoy!
It's time to taste it. It's a bomb of flavor. So creamy rice risotto, extreme apple flavor, and of course, the buttery taste. Just perfect.
Thanks for watching the whole video. I hope you've enjoyed every bit of it and you found lots of inspiration for you. If you did, make sure to tag me on your social media, on your creations inspired by my videos. I always love checking them out. Now, the giveaway. You probably, most definitely already know that I'm an online culinary instructor, and right now I've published already 8 cooking classes on Skillshare on various topics, from general culinary education to the French sauces mastery, food plating, and most recently on creative recipe development. So, if this video hits 10,000 likes, I will be giving away 1 year free membership to Skillshare, an online educational platform that will give you access not just to all of my classes, but to hundreds of other awesome classes on cooking, photography, art, and much more from other great creators like Alex the French Guy, Ali Abdal, and Lily Singh. So here are 3 simple rules. Like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to my weekly newsletter. There will be a link in the description. And that's it for the day. Don't forget, you're the best. You're my culinary hero. Now go and cook something amazing. Bye.
We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're blasting off to